Welcome back, everyone. This is one of the scariest pastas I've ever read. The original story is very long and detailed, but I'm going to do my best to summarize it while still keeping all the important parts. Oh, before I get into it, please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss any new uploads. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And finally, if you want to hear more scary pasta stories, then check out my podcast. Thanks. The ritual was a desperate attempt to bring someone back from the dead. Now, it's not something most people would do, especially since it involved human sacrifice. But sometimes people can become so consumed by their desire to see their loved ones again that they are willing to do anything. And this was certainly the case for our next Reddit user who asked, "What is the most messed up thing you've ever witnessed?" My friend tried to bring his wife back from the dead. Okay, here we go. A few years ago, I had a good friend. Let's call him Mark. Mark was extremely religious. The in-your-face cult type, but the kind of guy who prayed constantly. His religion wasn't a major one either. It was basically a mishmash of different religions with a heavy emphasis on magic. He was an herbalist, a tarot card reader, an astrologer, and he even dabbled in voodoo. This wasn't the kind of stuff he kept secret either. He would openly tell anyone who would listen that his religion was real and that science was just a bunch of bullcrap. Even after he got married to his girlfriend of 6 years, whom I'll refer to as Jenny, he still didn't stop. In fact, he became even more outspoken about his beliefs. It got to the point where I had to tell him that if he was going to invite me over for dinner, he needed to stop preaching about how everyone should abandon science and accept Jesus as their savior. "You have to understand," he said in response, "that I am on the path of light. I have found the truth, and it is my duty to spread it. If I don't do it, who will?" I eventually stopped inviting him over, after he accused my wife of being a witch, because she used cold reading during a tarot card reading. A couple of years passed, and one day I got a call from Mark. He was hysterical. I could barely understand what he was saying, but I could hear panic in his voice. He kept repeating the same phrase over and over. "She's gone. She's gone. ... I told him to calm down and explain what happened. Apparently Jenny had been feeling sick for a few days and told him she was going to go to the hospital. He begged her not to go and told her that he would pray for her. When she returned home, she went straight to bed and died in the middle of the night. Obviously, I tried to console him, and I told him that I would come over if he wanted to talk. But when I arrived at his house, everything had changed. The walls were covered in symbols that I had never seen before. There were also pictures of Jenny all over the walls with nails. Every single surface was covered in candles, salt, dirt, and herbs. What was once a happy and welcoming house was now a shrine to the dead. I asked him what was going on, and he told me that he was bringing Jenny back. At first, I thought he was joking. But when I looked at his eyes, I realized he was serious. He explained to me that his religion had taught him how to raise the dead. And although it was very dangerous, he was willing to take the risk. I told him that he was crazy and tried to leave, but he wouldn't let me go. He said that I was part of the ceremony now and that I couldn't back out. He then forced me to sit down and watch as he began his ritual. He began by opening a big black book. It looked very old, and the pages were filled with strange symbols and writings. Then he began to chant in a language that I didn't recognize. As he chanted, he walked around the room sprinkling salt and holy water everywhere. Every time he sprinkled some on the floor, he would draw a symbol underneath it. Then he started making cuts on his palms and wrists and smeared the blood on the walls and the pictures of Jenny. After he finished that, he made a cut on his forehead and let blood drip down onto the open book. I was absolutely horrified. I had no idea that people were actually capable of doing things like this. Then Mark began the final part of the ritual. He laid down on the floor, placed 2 candles on either side of him, and closed his eyes. He then started screaming at the top of his lungs. It sounded like an animal had been trapped in a box. It was horrible. I was so scared that I ran out of the house. Mark screamed continuously for what felt like hours. I didn't know where to go or what to do, so I ended up hiding in a bush across the street. Eventually, the screaming stopped, and Mark came out of his house. He was crying and holding the black book. I asked him if everything was okay, and he responded, "It worked. She's coming back." Mark then walked away without another word, and I called the police. I didn't want to believe what I had seen, but I knew I had to report it. When the officers arrived, they found Mark standing over Jenny's body. He was babbling incoherently about how she was alive and how everything was fine. He still had blood on his hands and his eyes were wide and empty. The officers arrested him and took him away. Jenny's body was taken away for an autopsy, and I never heard from Mark again. They charged him with murder, and he awaits trial to this day. Was it really a murder, though? I mean, the whole bringing someone back from the dead thing didn't work, so he must have killed her before trying to do the ritual. Right. Well, the autopsy revealed that Jenny had been dead for several days before Mark tried his little ritual. So technically, I guess he did kill her. Still, it's pretty messed up to try and raise someone from the dead, regardless of whether or not it works. I mean, think about how Jenny felt trapped inside her body for all that time. It's a nightmare scenario right there. Anyways, if you liked this video, then check out my podcast. Thanks for listening. And here's another video you might like.